Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Cut Inside podcast. My name is Kaustubh, and today I have Devashish and Rohit with me. As the group stages are coming to a close, we're doing a run through of all the groups. We've already done an episode for Group A and B that we will link in the description. Today, in this episode, we're going to cover Group C and Group D. So, guys, Group C, my boys, Argentina. They gave me a heart attack in the beginning, but in the end, bro, all's well that ends well, I feel. Argentina, Messi came clutch, although he did miss the penalty, but I think I think Argentina are really finding their groove now. It's not all dependent on Messi. There are other players who are scoring, getting into the act. So I think yeah, solid performance. And what do you guys think, Rohit?
After the first game, I'm sure you, all three of us were shitting our pants. Yourself because you're a fan, and three of us because we predicted Argentina
Uh,
to go to the final. But man, what a start! What a start to the group.
mhm.
Eventually, Argentina came into its zone, and they had like a brilliant game in the final game against Poland. They performed really well. Even though Messi missed the penalty, his performance was really good, especially in the second half. The number of chances he created, number of openings he managed to get for himself, and not just himself, the performance of the midfield as well, and the wing backs who were extremely high. Acuna and Molina were extremely high in both games,
Mhm,
and they have this. I've noticed this pattern of play where they switch flanks pretty often, especially with Enzo Fernandez and Rodrigo Paul. Like
mhm.
they keep switching between right and left, and they do it pretty well. They retain position and they bite back. When they lose position. They are hungry dogs, and yeah, it was a towards the last two games they performed really well, and fittingly they finished on top. It would have been a travesty had Poland or Mexico or Saudi Arabia been finished on top. But yeah, regarding Argentina, yeah, those are my thoughts.
Devashish?
So I had a pretty interesting talk with one of my friends, Rohan, who has made an appearance on the channel previously. He actually said his prediction was Germany to win the World Cup, and my prediction was Argentina. When Argentina lost that game, he called me and went like, "Ah, bhai," and I went like, "Yeah, you're true." But in that game, one thing I said to him in that conversation that to find some positives, the only positives is some countries, some good teams have their worst game in a knockout game, and then they go
Mhm,
out. Having your worst game in the group stages is one of the biggest gifts you can get. One thing that gives you is it gives you time to actually learn from your mistakes. Scaloni excellently has learned from his mistakes. He has made the right changes. He has got McAllister into the team. He started Enzo Fernandez after he scored that second goal. He has brought, I was screaming at the screen, bring Julian Alvarez into this team, give him more minutes. Finally, he got more minutes. The one thing I've seen from Argentina is they're struggling. I said it in my prediction videos. I can see there is a lack of verticality in their game. I can see
mhm,
Messi has to drop a lot deeper, and that's down to Lo Celso, who is a progressive midfielder, whose job in that team alongside De Paul was actually to be the creative one, and De Paul was the physical one. So now they're finding a different way to it, where they are all collectively contributing more to the attacking possession with McAllister, Enzo Fernandez, and De Paul. And De Paul against, I think it was Poland, he was brilliant. I think it was that game when he was excellent, or maybe Mexico. He had excellent stats in that game,
mhm.
and he won all the second balls and all those things. So I think the one positive after that game, I told my friend that I think this gives an opportunity for them to just learn from their mistakes, and
I
they
think,
did that. Scaloni
most
did,
of
did
all, it was like just a wake-up call for them. I think, going into the World Cup, I think somehow I feel like they started believing their own hype that, they are the favorites to win the World Cup and it'll just happen. But,
made
against
that halftime team talk from the Saudi manager. Man,
exactly,
hats off. That's the real time version of Shah Rukh Khan saying 70 minute in Chak De India.
yeah,
That's the real time
exactly,
version of that.
exactly. But I think, one really funny thing about that video was that
The
he was
translator.
screaming in English and then the translator was screaming the
Yeah.
same thing in, Arabic. Just imagine you're sitting in the dressing room and getting shouted at in two different languages.
Yeah,
That's
man, the efforts from the Saudi players was excellent. If ever someone asks me that, bro, how to play for your country, how to represent your country, that is the match I'll show them. And be like, that's what you do. They were, man, bhai, bhid rahe the wo log. They were literally doing everything. It was brilliant. Yeah.
I think also just like quickly to highlight Mexico, I think for them it was just a matter of again the team just being too old. the likes of Jimenez, Herrera. There are a lot of old players in their team, and the young players have not really stepped up and made the national team spots their own. So a bit disappointing that they didn't make it out of the group, but I think maybe they should consolidate now and focus on their next World Cup, which is actually going to be they're going to be one of the hosts. So they would want to have an impressive showing. So I think they should shift their focus on that. I think that's it for Group C. Let's move to Group D. I think France, although they did have a little wobbly performance, not really as solid and, not playing like world champions, I would say. But I think ultimately Mbappe got the job done. Guys, what do you think?
This is good. I think you'll have a
Yeah.
lot to say about this.
Devashish,
Okay. So
France?
with France, it's the one thing I would say about France is they, in my opinion, they haven't been challenged enough yet. So it's like, Spain have been challenged, Germany have been they have actually been challenged a lot. They are going back home, but Argentina have been challenged. The big teams, even Brazil to an extent, were challenged. I think France haven't really been challenged in any of the games. The last game they were challenged, but it was like the whole team was different. Chouameni was the only one who was playing. So they have been good. They have been impressive. Rafael Varane is making some mistakes. I'm not comfortable with him in that defense. Konate when he came in. I think it was the game against Denmark when Konate came in and absolutely changed the game with his defensive. And he was another level to Varane actually. And I said before the World Cup, he has to go. He has to go. So I'm not. It's fine. Like, what did we expect from France? Is this anything less than we expected? Yes, maybe because they actually lost to Tunisia. Is this anything more than we expected? Absolutely not. Were they really challenged? Were they really tactically challenged? Because there were some dimensions when I saw Deschamps was just waiting for things to happen and not really making changes that were important. So nothing much. I just am waiting for them to be challenged, and I think they're facing who
Poland.
finished Poland. So
Poland.
I mean, again, is that a real challenge? So let's see.
Okay. I think the biggest surprise from this group was probably Denmark finishing rock bottom of the group. I think many of us had predicted them to be the dark horses of the World Cup. Having put in such an impressive showing
Euros.
at the Euros, finishing. I think ultimately they got knocked out in the semi-final. But again, I think even for this team, I feel like again it's just like these players. They were too. I think it's important for us all to remember that all the players who shown at the Euro, they're all 2 years older, and all of them were already into their 30s. So expecting the likes of Schmeichel and Kier and Eriksson to sort of carry them again was this again a step too far. But yeah, I think it's time again for them also to.
The only thing about Denmark I would say is, of course, I didn't expect much from them. I didn't say, I mean, they were not really my dark horses, but I think to say that it's fine to go out from this group. If the group would have been harder, I would have agreed with
True.
you. Whatever you said, I would have agreed with if the group was really hard. No disrespect to Tunisia and Australia, but I just think you still should be making that out of the group, and you've got players from the Bundesliga, Premier League, and all the top leagues. You should be
True.
making it out from that group.
Especially when Australia, they had a really poor qualifying campaign and actually had to go through extra rounds of qualification to ultimately make it to the World Cup. So losing that match to this pretty average Australian side, with all due respect to them, I think it was really disappointing ultimately.
I think
So
Denmark really benefited from playing at home in the Euros actually. Like that spurred them on in the entire this
yeah.
Ericsson thing, right? It united them and they played for him and as a team and at home. And then they went on that brilliant run. I feel like they just look without any spark in this tournament. They just look like a very dead team. One of those teams that, it's like neither too bad or not too good. It's just there. It's just
Just
representing,
yeah,
making,
they're
making
just
up the numbers.
there.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let something
Absolutely, like
special. Yeah, go on.
nothing memorable at all from them. I think they're pretty forgetful in this tournament. I think, in my
Yeah, and
opinion.
something special about Australia, man. They're good in every sports, aren't they? They're just there.
Yeah.
It could be the Olympics, it could be cricket, it could be hockey, it could be basketball. It's literally any sport you look at. Australia are there. They are always
Mhm.
there. Good
Good
country.
country.
I think, I think that's about it for the Group D. I think looking forward to the round of 16 matches. I think it's going to be Argentina versus Australia and France versus Poland. Uh, so I think, firstly with Argentina and Australia, hats off to Argentina. I think, they could have pulled a classic Argentina and sort of bottled it in the final game. And, for the first half, even I was pretty stressed looking at the way Argentina was playing. But, they did what they had to do, got the job done. And I think they've been rightly given the easier draw for having topped the group. So I think personally, no surprise here. Argentina is just gonna dominate Australia, maybe even a hat trick from my boy Messi. And an easy dub. I see an easy dub for Argentina.
Oh my.
I think, what do you think about France and Poland? Anything Lewandowski got a chance?
The guy needs to run more. He should, try to run. Like I saw there was an instance. I understand good players don't need to track back. I don't understand that, but I get it in some specific situations. Poland is one of them. Who were the play? Argentina, Di Maria had the ball on the right side of attack of Argentina near the 18-yard box
Mm-hmm.
with the right back overlapping him. The Polish defense was, struggling to defend the cross and something. Lewandowski was at the opposite side of the pitch, diagonally, at the halfway line. I'm like, there should be some sense in what. Okay, and I get this. I get it with players who are very quick. So they start just beyond the halfway line, so they aren't offside,
Yeah.
and then they, mate, the time he will take to run from the half line to the 18-yard box of the opposition goal,
Hmm.
I will finish an entire football match. Like you cannot be standing there. That level of ego is embarrassing. It doesn't matter how good you are. Just a very simple example. Sunil Chetri wouldn't be in that position. I don't care who Lewandowski is. Sunil Chetri wouldn't be in that position in that whole scenario.
Rohit, any thoughts?
Yeah,
Mbappe gonna do this magic, or is it gonna be Lewandowski's surprise?
yeah, agree that like France have not been tested and they're not really going to be tested defensively in this game either because Poland's
Mhm.
attack is just woeful. But Poland had a really good defensive record before that Argentina game, although they played only 2 games. Like
Mhm.
even if you look at the numbers within the game, right, it's not just the number of goals conceded.
True.
They were really good defensively and against Argentina as well. Until they conceded that penalty, they looked really strong. And Argentina was actually struggling to look for answers in the opening
Mhm.
30 minutes or so. And it'll be a bit of a tougher test for France in terms of attack because they've been scoring goals for fun. Scored 4 goals in the first game and then scored 2 against Denmark and all. So I feel like it'll be a sterner test for them, but still you would have to put France as favorites, man. Like yeah, France and Argentina favorites for these 2 groups. Don't think I'm making a brave call or anything.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I think, that's about it for this episode. Thanks for joining us, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check out the first part where we covered Group A and Group B in the other video. Cool. Bye bye.